So the word accountability is used a lot. The question is, what does accountability really mean? And how does the principle of accountability empower us? We're going to talk about that today. Welcome back. As you know, principle-based living is all about principles or laws that govern the world in which we live. And when we understand what those laws are and follow those laws, then we are more likely to get the outcomes in life that we desire. So today we're going to revisit the principle of accountability and talk a little bit more about what it is and how it operates. And most importantly, how the principle of accountability actually empowers us or gives us more control over our life. So to begin with, I want to share with you a story that just happened in the last couple of weeks that illustrates the principle of accountability. So we have a daughter, we have actually two daughters who are going to college right now, and one will be graduating in the spring. And she has been very excited about finishing up her undergraduate degree, and then she wants to go on to graduate school and wants to pursue, psychology. And so she's very interested in, what we teach here, and she works with us at our girls' school during the summer breaks. But anyway, she called me up a couple of weeks ago, very anxious, pretty distraught, and pretty worried. And she said, "You're not going to believe this, but I just got, I think it was an email, maybe it was a phone call, I don't remember for sure, but she got notice from somebody in the department that she is going to be one class short of what she needs in order to graduate in the spring." So her major is in psychology, her minor is in art, and one of the art classes that she had taken was changed to a pass-fail class. And for whatever reason, at the university that she was at, a pass-fail class cannot be counted as one of the classes that she needs in order to have her minor. And if she doesn't have her minor, then she can't graduate with her major. Again, some of the rules that they have in their school. So think about this with, I just said, with rules. So the school gets to decide what their rules are. My daughter, she has no say in that. So that's not something that she has any control over. So control is another principle, right? We only have control over three things, which are our conscious thoughts, our emotions, and our behavior. So if Andrea got upset and put forth a lot of energy and effort trying to change the rules in the school, most likely not going to happen. So again, she was very anxious, pretty worried. This happened on a Friday, and she was told that Monday was the last day that she could add a class for that semester. So she still had time to fix that situation. But because she was anxious, she had been emailing and calling as many people as she could think of to try to correct the situation. Now that's something that was within her control. So she has control over what she thought about it. The thoughts that she was having were creating an emotion of anxiety, but then she could choose what she did. And so she looked people that she could contact about what options and choices that she had. Now think about this. Who is responsible for that situation? Andrea had gone to her guidance counselor in November, had sat down with that person, went through all of the credits that she had and the classes that she was going to take in her final semester to make sure that she had everything in place in order to graduate in the spring. So Andrea had done everything in her power to make that happen. But now she's being told that one of those classes that her advisor told her would count would not count. So if you look at responsibility, well, her advisor had a responsibility to do her job, which was to advise Andrea on what she needed to do in order to graduate. If her advice was correct or incorrect, it doesn't change the principle of accountability. So what the advisor told Andrea, and then Andrea chose to listen to that advice and to go with that advice, it doesn't change the outcome, which is Andrea is the one that would be affected by the situation. So ultimately, she is accountable for her life and the decisions and choices that she makes. Even if somebody gives us wrong information and we accept that information and act on that information, ultimately we are still accountable for the actions that we take. And so when you hear that at first, that may seem a little bit difficult, right? Because we live in a society where we like to blame because it feels good to be able to shift responsibility to somebody else. But in fact, what it does is it gives away our power and our control. Because if somebody else created the situation, then somebody else has the ability or the responsibility to fix it. And we have no control over anybody else. So we can't make them or not make them do anything. So Andrea was in a situation where it's possible that she wouldn't graduate when she wanted to graduate. She emailed one of the professors in an art class about entering that class, and the professor wrote back and said that he didn't think it was a good idea because it was too far into the semester. And so she was getting information back that looked like it could be a challenge for her. Ultimately, what happened is the people that had the power and the control looked at the situation and realized what they had done, took responsibility, and made a decision to count a class that she is taking right now, an art class, as the credit that she needed for art so that she could graduate. So long story short, it worked out for my daughter, but there was every possibility that it may not have worked out. And so in our life, we have to realize that we are accountable for our lives. Nobody else is. Even if somebody else is willing to take on the accountability for us, we can't give it away. Now we can try, we can say, you're responsible for my happiness, but that person really can't make me happy. We can say, okay, you're going to be responsible for me losing weight, and that person may be able to tell me everything that I need to do or could do to lose weight, but unless I do it, I'm not going to lose weight. They can't lose weight for me. So the cool thing about that, though, is if we shift it, it also says that if there is something in our life that we don't like or that we're uncomfortable with, because we are accountable for ourselves, we have the power to change that and to do something about it. So just be aware of your mindset and where do you go when things don't go the way that you expect or want them to in your life. How easily do you move into that place of blaming and giving away your power and control to somebody else instead of looking back and saying, okay, what can I do in this situation? What do I have control over? And focus on those things. That will empower you and give you the control over your life. Thanks for watching today. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. And if you're interested in learning more and knowing what we do, visit our website at principlebasedliving.com. And if you're watching this on LinkedIn, be sure and follow me here.